Bone zone. You got your foramen magnum here. This is the inferior portion of your skull. Your foramen magnum. Within that, on the lateral side of the wall, you've got your hypoglossal canal. That's a better view. Hypoglossal canal, which transmits your hypoglossal nerve, CN12. And then you've got your jugular foramen, which if we turn it sideways, let's see, right here. There's your jugular foramen, big hole right in a little lateral, a little anterior to your foramen magnum. The jugular foramen, as we mentioned in the last video, transmits your vagus, your glossopharyngeal, and your spinal accessory. That's 10, 9, and 11. I don't know why it's in that order. And your internal jugular vein. You've got your occipital condyle. Someone's knocking. That's a little weird. Your occipital condyles right here on either side of your foramen magnum. And those are important because they articulate with your atlas vertebrae, or C1. You've got, we mentioned the foramen magnum, but what I didn't mention was that it transmits the spinal cord, and if you don't know that, you're definitely not the student of the summer. Let's see, you've got your occipital protuberances, which there's one on the inside and outside. This is the external one, and that's just important because it is the attachment for your ligamentum nuchae, or nuchae, or nucha, whatever you want to call it. Moving on, you've got your, see if we go to the very back, see if I can turn it this way. You've got your highest nuchal lines. Now sometimes these won't be visible, but they're going to be the highest like ridges on the back. I guess the lighting's not really good for that. Maybe right here. You can kind of tell there's a set of lines. Below that you have your superior nuchal lines. These are more prominent. They extend from your protuberance. And then finally you have your inferior nuchal lines. So these are just attachments for your back and neck muscles. Your highest nuchal lines are for the attachment of the epicranial aponeurosis. And once again, that's very hard to see. So let's move back to the inferior aspect. You've got your, actually, let's move back to the posterior aspect. You've got your occipital crest, which your external are on the outside. So you can think crest is up and down, and the lines is side to side. Maybe now we can move back to the bottom. So let's see, what else do we have? We have our articular tubercle, which is part of the TMJ, your temporomandibular joint. So if you find your, if you find the fossa, the mandibular fossa, you can find your tubercle right in front of that, because your jaw pretty much, it kind of dislocates and moves forward, and this is where it sits when your mouth is open. But behind that is your mandibular fossa. And on the other side, let's see, here's your fossa, and here's your articular tubercle. Moving on, your internal acoustic meatus is on the inside. Let's see, your carotid canal. So if we can find your foramen lacerum, this is your foramen lacerum, so this should be your carotid canal. So what your carotid canal does is you're going to go in and over, and so on the other side of this you're going to have your carotid groove, and then it's going to pass right over your foramen lacerum. So don't get your carotid canal confused with your foramen lacerum, because that happens a lot. Just remember, your foramen lacerum is going to be just lateral. It's very medial in the skull, but just lateral to your sella turcica. Or on the inferior aspect, it's your pharyngeal tubercle. So this is the attachment point of your pharyngeal raphe, which is basically the connection point between your either side of your pharyngeal constrictor muscles. So let's see, what's next? We have foramen lacerum, I mentioned, right here. That hole, it's pretty big. Your mastoid process, which is just the back right there. You can kind of feel it on yourself. Just pretty much the end of your jaw, right below your ear, right below your earlobe. And I just did that myself, but you guys can't see that. Let's see, your mastoid foramen, which if you just see a hole, oh, that's out of view. I don't know if you guys saw the mastoid process, but your mastoid foramen, which should just be a hole on the back of your mastoid process, you can see it right there. And the mastoid foramen is important because it has an emissary vein coming out. So an emissary vein is basically way for blood to leave the inside of your skull. It'll travel out through foramens and various points on your head, on your skull. Let's see, styloid processes. People are notoriously bad at handling their skulls, and usually the styloid process is broken off, but I think we might have a couple left right there. If you guys want to see a really crazy styloid process, which probably won't happen because this video probably won't be out until after you guys are done with lab, but if you check out Jordan Meaton's tank, they have a styloid process that's like 2 inches long. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. It's Pandemonium 2013. Moving on, your stylomastoid foramen, which, let's see. Hey Zane, styloid mastoid foramen?
There, that little hole.
This guy?
Yeah.
Alright, that guy's important because it transmits your facial nerve 7 and stylomastoid artery. And let's see, what else do we have on the inferior portion? Your foramen rotundum, which is a little difficult to see. I'll see if I can get you an angle. Okay, so it's going to be right there to the... It's tough to see because it comes out. It allows for your maxillary nerve to come out and go straight into your inferior... Let's see, change the angle. Your inferior orbital fissure. So it basically, like, very quickly lets something come out and go into your orbit. And so that's important because it allows your, your maxillary division of your trigeminal nerve, V2. Foramen ovale, if we look over here, oh, we're a little far. Foramen ovale is right here. It's the shape of an oval. As I said in the last video, it's because you're taking an oblique section through a cylindrical object. So it's going to transmit something forward to the mandible. So your mandibular division of your trigeminal nerve, which is V3. And behind that is spinosum, which goes up to your pterion for your meningeal nerve and your middle meningeal artery. Yeah, let's see if we can see the perpendicular plate. Perpendicular plate is the top one coming off your ethmoid bone. The bottom one is your vomer. This is a better view of the orbital fissures. So here's your inferior one, and that's your superior one. And you still can't really see the foramen. Maybe if you... Okay. So you see, this is your fissure, and then through that, directly where the pen is pointing, that's your rotundum. That's where your maxillary nerve is going to come out. And finally... Well, I guess you have your infraorbital foramen. That's not really on the inferior portion, but it's on my list, so I'm going to point it out. And that's your infraorbital nerve and artery. Let's see, your pterygoid processes are going to be these. And you have your medial and your lateral, and those are important because they're the attachment for your muscles, your pterygoid muscles. That's why they're called the pterygoid processes. And... yeah, I guess the greater and lesser wings of your sphenoid, it's tough to tag. Can't really see it on the entire skull. You can Google that shit. Alright guys, that's pretty much it. Hope you've enjoyed these Bone Zone videos. Hope we haven't been too much of a distraction. And hope that helps. Have a great summer.